Hey guys, welcome to my garden. Today I have another video focused on native plants that you can plant in the home garden. Today we're going to talk about black-eyed Susans. These recently started blooming and they're looking fantastic, and I've just been staring at them every day thinking I need to make a video about them. So we're going to talk about those, and then we're going to talk about Lobelia. Two different varieties of Lobelia, and one of them you might know is cardinal flower. So we're going to take a look at those two. If you missed my initial couple of videos on the importance of native plants for your area, why we should be planting as many of them as possible to support the wildlife and the things that are supposed to be here, I will link that video at the end. And then, as always, if you have any questions or you see anything that I didn't talk about in the video, feel free to put a comment below and I will try to answer your questions. So let's start with black-eyed Susan, since I'm sitting here this morning just admiring them. They're beautiful right now. Black-eyed Susans are also known as Rudbeckia. And they are native to the majority of the US and Canada. They prefer full sun and a drier, sandier soil, but they are also pretty adaptable. So the spot I have them in right now is I would say average soil, but it is on the drier side, and they're doing really well. I just planted these. This is two plants I planted last year, so this is their second season, and man, they are pretty. They're a very rich golden yellow. Now, these are really important for a variety of bees. So I know when we think of bees, we traditionally think of like a bumblebee or honeybees, but there are a lot of different varieties of native bees that are really important. And they love black-eyed Susans. So these are important for bees. But I also learned that black-eyed Susans are actually a host plant for two different types of butterflies that are native to North America. So what is a host plant? A host plant is a plant that an insect requires to lay its eggs on and to feed its young, basically. So a classic example of a host plant would be milkweed for the monarch butterfly. They lay their eggs on it, and the caterpillar can only eat milkweed leaves. So in the case of black-eyed Susans, they are a host plant for the silvery checkered spot butterfly and the banded patch butterfly. So another reason why this native plant is so important. So if you have a sunny, dry spot in your garden that you want some beautiful, bright summer color, this is great for that. These are, so when you go to the garden center, you will find different varieties. I'm not sure which cultivar this is. I don't have the tag anymore. But these are perennial, but some black-eyed Susans are more of a biennial or an annual in some areas if you live in a colder climate. I'm in a zone 5 though, and these are behaving like a perennial. So I have another patch I can show you that. Oh, this is probably the third summer. and it comes back every year and it looks great. So, and it even started to self-seed, so that right there I did not plant. That just popped up, started blooming this year, but that's okay. So if I decide not to keep it in that spot, I might just dig that up and stick that in another part of my yard that's dry and sunny. So it's a great plant. So let's talk about Lobelia. The first Lobelia I want to show you is the great blue Lobelia. So that's the plant we're looking at right now. So it has a bunch of different spires and these bluish purple flowers. So let me get closer. So Lobelia prefers part sun and wetter conditions. So this is actually a marsh plant. So if you have a spot, sorry, a truck just went by. If you have a spot in your yard or garden that is just on the wet side, and a little bit shaded, this would be a great plant. And you can see by the shape of the flowers, see how it sort of opens up and they're a tubular shape. These type of flowers are preferred by hummingbirds and butterflies because bees can't really get in there to get to the nectar. But hummingbirds can stick their tongues in there, and so can butterflies. So I have the tag here too. So this is the native great blue Lobelia. So this is not a cultivar. This is what you would find in the wild. This is my first year growing this plant, so I've been excited to watch. It's kind of interesting because it has this long spire, but then over here it has a shorter spire and it's just packed with more flowers. So it's really interesting. But again, this one's good for if you have a butterfly or a hummingbird garden. That's actually why I put this close to my porch, so that I could attract hummingbirds and just kind of sit and watch them. So it's a zone perennial in zone 4 through 9. Sun or part sun, and likes moist conditions. But again, this spot is more of an average spot. The soil here isn't particularly wet, but it does get part shade in the second half of the day, and it's still doing really well. So I think this one's adaptable too. Let's go look at another type of Lobelia. The phlox are also looking amazing, by the way. Look at that. So pretty. Okay. So this variety of Lobelia is what you may have heard referred to as cardinal flower. So this is Lobelia cardinalis. It's a different variety than the other Lobelia, but they're very, very similar in the sense that they like a more of a part shade position, and they like to be more wet. So this is also a marsh plant. But look at how pretty these flowers are. These are such a bright, striking red. And again, you can see the tube shape of the flower. that really only hummingbirds and butterflies can get to. And I have seen several hummingbirds over here. I also have it right next to the bee balm, which I did a previous video about. Hummingbirds and butterflies also like the bee balm. So I've seen quite a few hummingbirds over here. Now this is a cultivar of cardinal flower. So this is not exactly what you would see in the wild. This variety is called Queen Victoria. So the main difference between this and what you'd see in the wild is this dark purple foliage, which is beautiful. The plant you'd see in the wild has more green foliage, and it doesn't get as tall, I don't think. But let me clean this off here. Prefers part sun, again, moist position. It's a perennial in zones 5 through 9. The house wren is not happy with me because I'm close to his nest. Sorry, buddy. So, again, if you have a part shade area, you have a wet spot in your yard or garden that you really want to get some color into, this is a great plant. And like I said, I've seen several hummingbirds over here, so it's beautiful. So that's really all I have for you guys today. I hope this video gave you some ideas for what to look out for at the garden center, some native plants that might work in your garden space. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, or if you saw something you have a question about, please feel free to drop a comment below. I'm happy to answer questions. And also like and subscribe so I know that you guys want more of these types of videos. So, hope you have a good rest of the day, and I will see you next time.